people are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
Do not come. Do not come.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat. Sunday night shit show. It's the shit
What
show.
a shit show week. I mean, this title, shit show. I mean
the
how
whole,
apt is it? This world is crazy. We're bombing Iran.
I mean,
Iran.
honestly, I know I can believe it, but I kind of can't believe it. Like when I saw that last night, I'm just kind of in shock. Like we're just watching things repeat over and over again. It's like a slow moving car crash. We all know how this ends horribly. And we're just totally powerless. Our voice means nothing. Nothing.
It means nothing. And then just seeing leftists sort of split on this somewhat too. I mean, most people don't want us to go to war with Iran. It makes no sense, but you've got some leftists supporting a regime change. And, it's one thing to think that the administration is bad and should go.
Right.
But if you haven't learned the lessons of an imperialist power like us and Israel forcing that on a country and what it does, that's a whole different thing than saying, like, you're supporting George Bush going into Iraq if you support this move into
Iran. It's just unbelievable. And if Democrats, I mean, I don't even know why, like, what's the point of ever pointing out hypocrisy? We will get into this, but there are so many ways, if you wanted to get rid of Trump, you could start impeachment proceedings, like so many ways. And they could have done it the same when he bombed or when he assassinated Soleimani, when he dropped bombs in his first regime, but they're actually all on board. Get on board. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say, like, we know the answer, but it's the easiest thing on earth to get popular support again back to your party by bringing up the fact that he doesn't have Congress's right to do this stuff. Bring back the Congress authorizing war.
Impeach him for starting an illegal war. Impeachable.
And some of these guys are saying that stuff, but they're not saying it loud enough. They're not saying it with their whole fucking body, like, get in there, have some consequence. We're going to, as soon as we take over the midterms, we will be impeaching them, for sure, or something, like.
And by the way, there are a few, like Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, the margins are small enough that if Democrats were serious about thinking that Trump is an existential threat, the end of democracy, a king, then there are no midterms. We're fucked. Yeah. And start impeachment process right now. Get all of these, 20,000 cities of no king protest people out there in the streets. Like, harness the energy that hates him. But, like, nobody cares. They're all for this. We're going to show video of Hillary Clinton in 2008 saying she's going to bomb Iran. And then, like, it's just disgusting.
Imagine being the opposition party to Hitler and you don't even try to impeach Hitler.
It's so gross. And that's actually why we call them Vichy Dems, because, we have a lot of collaborators and they would always rather side with fascism than the left, than the working class, than anti-war. It is, capitalism, fascism, liberalism, conservatism, whatever you want to call it. They hate us. They hate the working class. All they care about is money and war. And I despise them as much as they despise us.
I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to wear my glasses more because I got to face reality. It's hard to read the computer screen now. So, but this glasses, they can reflect off all these lights and it's kind of weird. But
sorry. I feel like what's great is we're talking about World War III, but you're like, wait a second. I just want to make sure there's no ring light in my eyeglass. The important stuff, the priorities.
Yes. Puppets. Let's show some puppets.
All right. Let's first thank our wonderful heroes and sheroes.
think if I should turn the volume down. Well, louder again. Too loud.
Is that better? I turned it down.
Oh, well, we can turn that down when we play it this direction.
We're
You're
still
right.
figuring
Forgot
stuff
about
out.
that.
Also, I was lagging, so I turned my green screen back on. The bottom of these are green. They are Palestine solidarity watermelon earrings, but the green is coming out. So, but when I say I don't have a green screen, I lag. So that's why. But anyway, thank you to all of our pup heroes and sheroes.
Thank you.
Love and adore you guys. Seriously, our 2 nights a week with you are really healing and cathartic and therapeutic for us. And also, I'm always trying, as is Pat, to figure out a way to get us on more nights and figure out how we can do that. So, because like I jones for it so hard in the space in between. So I love these nights with all of you guys. Thank you very much.
Amen. Thank you. And please like and leave a comment on the YouTube video if you can. It does help the algorithm if there's a comment there saying, Lila, I love your earrings. That's probably good enough.
Lila, I love your earrings. You're right. Please do like and subscribe. Smash that notification bell. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up would be so helpful. Yep, tell us.
Shout out to, I picked the perfect beer to describe our political parties. It's called Right.
Right.
By Urban Roots. Right.
Is that like our 2 different parties? Right. Or one big party?
Our two parties. Exactly.
Yeah, I like it. Thanks, Adria. I agree. And everybody's just saying such nice things. So sweet. Love you guys. We love you guys. All right. So always, this is evergreen. I'm checking. Oh, there's Lucky. All right. So, there's so much going on. Mostly we're going to be focused on World War III, but we do have, a lot of chaos and horrific things happening domestically as well. Those ICE arrests continue with very little pushback from Democratic mayors where these things are happening, these takeovers. So we have an independent photojournalist, Anthony Orendorff, in Los Angeles, who was arrested 2 days ago, and we are cheering him, but also the community response, because communities are like activating. They're getting out there and courageously trying their best to fight against these Gestapo, ICE agents, Proud Boys, whoever they really are.
Out of here! You're out of here! You're out of here! Get the fuck out of here! Get out of here! You have no fucking say! Get away! Get away! Get away! You little fucking dead piece of shit! What this is? Back up! You back up! Get out of the street! Get out of the street! You back up! Get out of the street! You fucking back up! Ooh, that little dick bitch! Tiny little dick bitch! All of you are pathetic. Fuck! I can't believe you guys defend these bitches. That person has no right to be arrested. Ooh! The real fucking criminals got away. Just so you know, the real fucking criminals got away. Fucking bastards. Little bitches. Little dick bitches. La MIGA, la policía, la misma porquería. Get out of the street. Oh, I'm on the street. Pendejo. Get out of the street. Fucking dumbass. For real. Woo. Our fucking street. Hey, what's your name? What's your name? I can't even yell. Ask him his name. What's your name? What's your name?
The People's City Council is an account that I think probably most of us follow. They're here in Los Angeles. I know they work with or have a relationship with Will Good, who we had on Film the Police LA. They also are big supporters of Kenneth Mejia, who's our Green Party LA controller. And they are out on the streets all the time filming and showing us how, unbeholden to any laws our cops are in this country.
Yes. Amen. And I love seeing, she sounded like a Latino woman, but, it's harder for her to take the courage to do that because she's going to be more a target than us white folks. So us white folks, we got to get out there and use our privilege to be a little bit less likely to be abused by the police, to get in their face and call them little dick bastards, just like she was doing. And kudos for her. That was, I wanted to mention William Good, who we were just discussing. Did you see he just was pushing a new app that's out for LA?
Yes.
For
Face
facial recognition app. So if you see a cop and you want to track who it is, and then, once you get that, they've got the records of their own personal criminal histories, which most of them have, and most of them are beating their wives and lots of terrible stuff.
Shooting guns unlawfully at unarmed citizens or civilians. It's pretty insane. So he is still in jail, the Van Nuys jail up the street from me. Just insane for what we don't know what the actual charges are. But this is a video that he put together a few days ago, which is beautiful. And I think, they target people who start to have a following and who are able to galvanize people in the streets.
What's going on, world? I'm in the city of angels, and this is the world that is happening. Let me begin with, I love my city. Not for its overpriced rent, not for the fake stars on Hollywood Boulevard. I love LA for the people that helped raise me. The people at the taco stand that feeds me and my whole family for under $20. The people at the Santee Alley who sold me affordable jeans and made me my favorite Tupac shirt so I can be fresh on my first day of 8th grade. The flower vendors, always kind, always there when I needed to buy flowers to say thank you to my mom for raising me and my sister. The day laborers outside Home Depot who shared their heart to a kid with a flip camera so I can begin my journey as a storyteller. These people aren't just my neighbors. They are threads woven into the fabric that makes this city what it is. But they also made me. And now they are disappearing because masked men who are not from our neighborhoods are abducting them, separating them from their families and our community. So LA took to the streets. And if you never had a loved one ripped from your arms or have never had people you know at risk of being taken, it might be difficult to understand why someone might throw a rock or anything they can find to stop them from being taken. But we won't get into that because that's not even the biggest threat to this government. What this government fears more than a flying plastic water bottle or a burning car is our relentless sacrifice and commitment we give to each other to fight for a better life. A vital lesson we inherited from the very people at risk of being kidnapped right now. They have shown us what it means to struggle, what it means to endure, and what it means to take care of each other. And as the media and politicians will focus on looting and a narrative that the people are violent, what is actually happening right now is a new world being born. A system rooted in care and resistance, where people have built networks to alert each other when an ICE raid is happening, where people are standing up to federal agents and kicking them out of their neighborhoods, where people are patrolling their blocks, where people are protecting the vulnerable targets of abduction, where people are buying groceries for people who are too scared to go outside, where high school kids show up every day to the building that holds their families and their friends' families hostage, where people dance, sing, and fight back any way they can, where people take hits from the people who are paid to protect us, where people give each other free Medicare. It's clear that the only thing these federal agents know how to do is take. But our city will forever know how to give. And that will always be our way and how we win, even when it seems like we are losing everything. Thank you, LA.
Fuck. It just seems like, do you remember being little and reading about, the civil rights movement in Los Angeles, in the United States, or, World War II we learned about in school, or slavery in the United States and just being like, what was like, how was that even possible? What was everybody doing? It's disgusting. I don't know. It's hard to function some days because it's just so evil. Like people are just evil.
And it just feels like the apocalyptic sci-fi we saw with the evil government enforcing laws that people don't agree with at all.
Yeah.
We're seeing it all happen, and at least we're fighting back. But
Yeah,
that we got to this point, it's
again.
it's really wild that you don't have a party against this, because they've locked in this two-party system where we can't gain power to stop this shit.
And that's the system working. 100% the system working. I know we'll touch on it, but what's happening in New York City as you've got a serial sexual assaulter who sent over 10,000 elderly people to their death during COVID, who had to resign in disgrace, who is corrupt, who is in bed with all of the right wing in New York State, who guaranteed actually that Democrats lost the House in 2024 and 2022, disgusting Andrew Cuomo and the, leaders of the Democratic Party cannot trip over themselves fast enough to support him.
Yeah, we'll get into all that. I think we need to spin the wheel and bring a little joy, and then we'll tackle Cuomo and these dirtbags.
And yeah, okay.
Yeah, baby.
Never forget.
All billionaires are bad.
All billionaires are bad.
This is the Yarvin song by Ron Gallo.
Google it. A guy named Curtis Yarvin around 2010 created a political movement called Dark Enlightenment, which basically states equality and progress are the ills of society. We need to eradicate democracy. Constitution and the rule of law have got to go so they can transfer all the power to a king CEO. Turn the U.S. into a heavily armed corporation and authoritarian state under AI surveillance, and we'd be the patrons and the slaves. The steps are as follows: sell public schools, destroy universities, abolish the press, imprison who they deem, decivilize populations and international relations, including security, foreign aid, and immigration. Fire all government workers, replace them with loyalists. Speaking of which, Curtis Yarvin's followers include the president and J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel, the owner of PayPal and Palantir, who Trump already hired to put all of us and our information into one giant AI database which they can use for exploitation. They see empathy and humanity as the downfall of Western society. If they can control everything, they can create utopia finally. Sounds pretty lovely, but the problem is it's entirely constructed for and by rich white male supremacists who also seem pretty socio-psychopathic.
I love the summary. I wish I could get into the
The
melody
groove is
of
not,
it.
Yeah, I know. But I just look, and just so you know, if you go to Ron Gallo, if you want a quick summary of who these oligarchs are,
Yeah.
he's got songs on a bunch of these guys. Like,
That's
it's
awesome.
kind of amazing to me that someone did that, because most people don't know who Curtis Yarvin is yet.
Right.
They just truly don't. But he's got all these songs about these guys. So
That's awesome. You just gave away our cache of ABAB, All Billionaires Are Bad videos. I hope so. He got the oligarchy punch up, Zainab bulletin punch up bump. Yeah, all billionaires are bad.
are bastards.
They're all evil. Just know that going in. They are all bad. They are fucking disgusting. And they hate us. You cannot earn $1 billion. You only do it by stealing from us and stealing our labor, and destroying our planet. So that should be an operating like baseline philosophy. All right, let's hear about what's going on in the world, because last we heard on Wednesday, after Israel started bombing Iran, our moron president gave 2 weeks for diplomacy. The diplomacy, by the way, that was started and working under Obama, that Trump destroyed the JCPOA treaty, that Biden never got us back into, that Trump now wanted to renegotiate, that Iran's diplomats were coming to the table to negotiate with a country that lied to them, fucked them over repeatedly. And then Iran kills their top negotiators, their top diplomats, and Trump blames them for not coming back to the table right away.
The table they were at
Yeah.
before they bombed and killed some of their negotiators.
Yep.
Over powers
they said they don't even want nuclear weapons. There's a fatwa against creating nuclear weapons. I'm sure that's gone now, but like the reason to enrich nuclear, what they were doing was for energy, which is what we are all doing. I don't think, I don't know enough about how a leak or a problem in that way of generating energy might affect all of us. So I don't know enough to weigh in on that, but there is a huge difference between using nuclear for energy or enriching nuclear for weapons of war. And they were not doing that. Everybody agreed. The International Atomic Agency knew it. Fucking Tulsi Gabbard knew it, even though now she's lying. We all knew it.
Which I just want to drop the balloons, because I said that she would flip her position on it immediately, because she's a coward. She was not going to hold true to her sort of mild pushback against Trump on this issue.
How many parties did she want to get kicked out of? She already got kicked out of the Democratic Party, and now she's like, I'm kind of liking it here with the MAGA crowd.
But the other thing is Trump's using this whole narrative about, well, they're sitting on all that oil. Why do they need nuclear energy? Well, for one, okay, I'm not a big nuclear energy advocate, but there are smaller, different ways of utilizing nuclear energy that people are using that are not the same old, dangerous, 3 Mile Island versions. I'm not going to get into that either, but it's a cleaner form of energy. So, if you're the U.S. and you're a heartless soul, but you understand climate change is real, even if the risks are bad for nuclear energy, it's in Iran. So in a way, that's the selfish American. You shouldn't care. You should want that to happen.
Right.
I mean,
but the truth is that nobody has even tried to set the stage to get American support for this the way they did with the Iraq war, even though it was all lies. They at least rolled out the Colin Powell with his, pretend vial of, the weapons of mass.
Yeah. And who was the biggest proponent back in that? Netanyahu.
Always. There's always Netanyahu telling us we need to go to war with Iran. In fact, let's just start there, because this has been a long time coming.
The deadline for attaining this goal is getting extremely close. And Iran, by the way, is also outpacing Iraq in the development of ballistic missile systems that they hope will reach the eastern seaboard of the United States within 15 years. By next spring, at most, by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage. From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks, before they get enough enriched uranium for the first bomb. The foremost sponsor of global terrorism could be weeks away from having enough enriched uranium for an entire arsenal of nuclear weapons. That would place a militant Islamic terror regime weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year.
You know who does have nuclear weapons and doesn't have to be inspected at all? The biggest fucking rogue state in the Middle East. I mean, we're the biggest one in the world, but in the Middle East.
And I just learned this week, and someone maybe fact check it for me, but technically we don't acknowledge that Israel has nuclear weapons.
No.
Because if we do, we're in violation of I don't know, some NATO thing, or I don't know what it was.
That Israel is a signatory to, but Iran is a signatory.
Right. So,
yeah.
So if we acknowledge that they have nuclear weapons, everything we're doing relating to them is illegal. In international law.
But you know what? Who cares? What we're doing by helping them commit genocide is illegal. What we're doing by giving them arms when they are starving a population is illegal. Like we do so, like that's why we have the Hague Act, because if the Hague ever brings up the US or our good friend Israel, or also Russia, which is interesting, we will invade. The US will invade the Hague. That's the Hague Act.
Yeah, we will attack the lawyers.
The international criminal courts. That's how much we believe in a rules-based
that we created.
Yep, after World War II. So that's where we are. There was a little bit of confusion in the Republican Party about if this is a regime change war or not, why it's necessary. They didn't completely stay on script. Trump, however, is trying to market, I guess, a new acronym, MIGA. It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? MIGA.
I mean, if you just want to put out a slogan that's like, "Hey, we're gonna be imperialist," like, here's my MAGA. We're gonna now put your little name in it, and then we're gonna put Iraq's name in it, and then we're gonna put like, this is clear, evil, inappropriate imperialism.
100%. Unprovoked, completely unprovoked. And the preemptive part isn't even, they can't even really make a case of that. It's like, oh, just in general. Yeah, everybody hates Israel in that area right now. They are lobbing bombs at 4 countries surrounding them for no reason other than some groups from those countries are trying to stop their genocide. Iran has the right to self-defense. Whatever you think about their leaders, and I would not want to live there, but also I wouldn't want to live in Libya. I wouldn't want to live in Yemen or Syria. And one of the main reasons is because those countries always are getting bombed by us.
Well, you know what's interesting about this? I mean, there's so many layers to it, but Don Lemon put out a video basically showing the same thing we just put out. Don Lemon, and he's saying, but he's just asking the question. He's still being the middle guy. Like, should we trust? And it's all on Netanyahu. Should we be trusting Netanyahu anymore? And he rolls basically that clip, but it's a different version of it. But to see, you know, he's only doing that because he's out of CNN. So if he was at CNN, he couldn't do that anymore.
Well, he could, but he wouldn't choose to.
Yeah.
Right? No, like, they are such cowards because, and why in the end did he get fired? Was it because of the sexist thing where he said that Kamala was almost past her prime? Was that the thing that like was the final straw? And the person that he co-hosted with, who's a woman, really took offense at that, rightfully. Although there are a million other worse things that he says and does that this other lady does too. That isn't as bad as a sexist comment. But here's our country. Most Americans think the U.S. military should not get involved in the conflict between Israel and Iran. Is that 60% say no, and with Democrats at 65%, independents 61%, even Republicans 53%. And you know, the independents are, I mean, one of the problems is, first of all, nobody in power cares what people want anyway. We don't have a democracy, haven't had it maybe ever, but certainly not for decades, right? So it doesn't matter that people want, as we always talk about, living wage, healthcare for everybody, fighting these climate, disasters. taxing billionaires, all that stuff that people really want, free public college, changing, defund the police is actually wildly popular when you break it down and explain exactly what it is, not just a slogan. But they don't care. So Trump's not running again. He doesn't care. The only group in there that could possibly affect Republicans who are in power who will come up for re-election is the independents, because those are the ones who go back and forth. But
well, I mean, when you see a policy, if you add those numbers up, it was 84% don't support it. I mean, if you're not sure, you don't support it, right? So that's 16% of everyone polled doesn't want to be involved. I mean, 16% wants to be involved in this war, and
84.
It's a political loser.
Yep.
It's a
moral loser.
There's no rationale for doing it politically other than appeasing the people funding you, like that you really answer to, which is no longer the voters at all.
Yep. I mean, that's the problem, is that, and again, that's why the fight the oligarchy and the no kings are so toothless, because until you have a direct demand, money out of politics.
Yeah.
No,
you're exactly right. You're exactly right. So this whole no kings thing and the fight the oligarchy. So what? We have to get that number from 86 to or 84 to 90, and then then that'll change things. Like, what you already have all the support for these things you're out there running around preaching for.
Yep.
So put some teeth behind it. Let's have a fucking thing people can do.
That might make your donors mad, and that is what they will never do. So it turns out, this was last week. We showed Trump's how he started shifting gears, but primarily it seems like, okay, here's the thing that I keep thinking about, and we've talked about, is Iran has been pushed as the most evil empire in the world for decades now. They're the state sponsors of terrorism. All of these, the reason to call Hamas and Houthis and Hezbollah terrorists is because once you paint that brush, and pretty much everybody in the Middle East who is against Israel's apartheid state, even before the acute period of this genocide, anybody against that is a terrorist, right? And so Iran has been sponsoring them. We have, helped Israel now take out the top of Hezbollah, of Iran's leadership. And okay, so when Biden was overseeing the beginning of Israel's ramped up attacks after October 7th, and we kept saying, like, he could end this in one call, which he could, because we have examples of Biden actually having done it 2 years before that, when there were attacks on Gaza, of Reagan doing that, even of George W. Bush even doing that. And for some reason, there was no call put out from whoever the leaders of the deep state, MIC, whatever. They did not force his hand. Biden obviously did whatever he's told, right? So at that point, it became clear that it was the project of the US to help allow Israel to take over, to decimate Gaza, the West Bank, to attack Lebanon, attack Syria. We had the regime change in Syria with an ex-most wanted terrorist in the world, an actual ISIS beheading people on camera terrorist, and Iran. And what I really want to understand is why the calls happened before but didn't happen this time. Like, what?
So
why?
And this is where I think we kind of disagree on this a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Right? Well, no, because I think it's a project gone amok.
Right.
Like the embed yourself in our country and run our government and have influence in our political system, I think they just have gained so much power that call now can't happen, because the people who would make that call are now in bed with Palantir, the weapons manufacturers.
Right.
Like, they don't want to make that call no matter what, even if it hurts our own interest. Right. We've lost our own interests in this whole battle.
Well, yeah, like, okay, then we're not, I mean, then we aren't disagreeing. Like, then it is just like, then that is the reasoning. Because they used to make that call, they didn't now, because the money's just so great.
Because the capitalism has gone so far, and they have lost such
perspective on how it's going to blow
perspective, rational interest, self-interest. It's all about, you know, just like a business is like, your goal as a business is to profit at all costs,
right?
You know, to show your stakeholders you made money. Well, now our politicians have to please the stakeholders who are their donors at all costs, and keep showing that they'll be as corrupt as the last guy that they replaced, maybe more. And it's always 5% more than the last guy. You're going to be more corrupt, more owned.
Yep.
So
it really is just like allowing these billionaires and the tech bros who they just, you know, inducted as what, generals or something. I don't know. We have to take a look into the army. But it's really just about, I mean, this is why the money out of politics is like the very first thing that has to happen, because then they aren't allowed to have any undue influence over legislation. We tax the hell out of them. We try to reinstate some form of democracy where they don't have an outsized voice. And at this point, their accelerationists, I mean, they are like the Bible thumping, people who are looking for Armageddon. I mean, that is like these Curtis Yarvin acolytes. That is what they want. They want a second coming, where they will be the philosopher kings or whatever. I mean, that is their project.
It is. And I think like the roots of this go back to NAFTA and a lot of the trade agreements, right? Yeah. Because the trade agreements gave corporations that don't serve our interests, because they're global international corporations, they gave them power to punish us if we didn't support what they want to do. So it was, you know, trying to turn it into being illegal to not allow this company to poison us, you know, some toxic thing. But all those trade deals gave these corporations power and
unmitigated power. Yeah.
Unmitigated, which didn't serve our interests in this country at all. And when you see the people in leadership pushing for trade deals that benefit a global corporation that doesn't even benefit the local rich US people, like that was a turning point to me.
Yeah.
Made it all
clear. And again, bipartisan, right?
Bipartisan.
Bill Clinton,
even
Obama.
Led, I was going to say even more Democratic, to be honest.
Like, I mean, the more effective evil, as Chris Hedges says, because when you want something truly evil to transpire, like NAFTA, like the TPP, like
the TPP was the biggest,
right? Like a genocide, you put a Democrat in power and you give it a little bit of a nicer facade. And that's
when Obama was going on the night show or whatever with Jimmy Fallon, and they were singing the you go TPP, you know, like all like
there go your jobs, there goes the US middle class. Thank you.
And that was an issue where, again, the public clearly was against it to the point that it sacked it eventually, but they just kept pushing on with their propaganda and the same thing they're doing on every issue that the public doesn't support. And, but they lost that battle, surprisingly. But I think they just double down and buy more people and more.
I mean, it doesn't matter. At a certain point, it just doesn't matter, because all of the guardrails have been taken off. All the regulatory boards have been taken off. I mean, somebody actually had the temerity to ask Caroline Leavitt about the Consumer Protection Bureau today or yesterday.
Right.
I mean, did you see her response? This is the craziest response.
Caroline, yesterday the administration appears to have started dismantling the Consumer Product Safety Commission. This is the federal agency, an independent one that does recalls and is responsible for product safety. Does the administration not believe that it's important, to keep toys and cribs? I mean, you're a young mom off of the product of the market.
It's a federal agency within which branch? It's the executive branch. Who's the head of the executive branch? The President of the United States.
Created by Congress.
He has the right to fire people within the executive branch. It's a pretty simple answer.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid and simple. It has no meat to the response. And all you're doing is saying what he wants is for us to have, to poison our kids with baby formula and let them die in car crashes because we have, what kind of
I just can't believe the fucking world that we're living in these days, right? They're now going back to like trying to make asbestos a thing again. Like we're bringing asbestos back, baby. Like nobody wants that. Like not a single soul is like, let's get asbestos back.
We're gonna put lead in the. Listen, fucking Obama went to Flint, Michigan, and pretended to drink clean tap water. We are over 10 years later. They still don't have clean water there. Then, we have the example of East Palestine, Jacksonville, Florida. Almost every single city in this whole country has lead in its water. Like, we are truly a genocidal nation, and they just don't care. They don't care about the climate disasters. They don't care about global pandemics. They don't care about genocide abroad. They don't care about how we treat U.S. citizens. They certainly don't care how we treat non-U.S. people. Yeah, it's a fucking death call.
We're truly going back like 50 years with all this legislation, right? All the things. Yeah. Well, it's not even legislation, just executive order. What's going to happen is you're going to go buy some insulation. You're going to hire the local company to spray some shit in your ceiling.
Yep.
In your house. And because they remove all the requirements to test for this stuff. The labeling stuff is gone. You're not even going to know. And you're going to have asbestos in your fucking roof again, in your ceiling again, in your attic. Like it's just going to happen and you're not going to know. And they're going to make it illegal to identify that your product has asbestos because, we said that's not.
You're hurting the bottom line. That's anti-capitalism.
So yeah, you shouldn't have to be forced to say that your product has asbestos.
Yep. Yeah, it's disgusting. And again, there's the abundance guys talking about deregulating buildings. So you're going to get asbestos, you're going to get lead, you're going to get, buildings that collapse like a house of cards in tornadoes or hurricanes or what. It's just earthquake.
Yeah, it's going to be Mexican architecture level.
Okay, so let's just go back to this was ominous, and I don't totally understand what it means. So Bannon is this fake populist, MAGA, Make America Great Again, America First bullshit that he's on. And he was against, or at least he was signaling that he was against this war. A preemptive attack on Iran. Then yesterday, this is what he said.
But there's others. I'm just reporting what I'm hearing from pretty good sources. The party is on. So another big weekend in this unfolding aspect of the Third World War. And no, anyone that's telling you that the Third World War is not here is absolutely does not understand the development and evolution of kinetic.
So he's also just flip-flopping, right? The party's on, World War III is here. He doesn't seem to be like upset about it, right? Like I don't even understand what that means. I don't care about him at all, except that he does represent a huge contingent of these morons listen to him. And I just am curious what that even means.
Yeah, he feels like a guy that's sort of two-siding it because he's going to have a political life beyond Trump. And so who does he align with? He aligns with the wacky people that, he knows it's WWF. He's actually smarter than all the people around him in this area. Right. He's a very wily strategist, astute. Like he's not dumb with the things he's doing, but he knows how to manipulate people. So he knows for the Republican Party post-Trump, for him to have any relevance,
right,
he's going to have to push people that are going to push back against Trump when they fight for him for power within the party in a year or two.
Yeah. I'm just so curious what people who are going to be sent off to die completely needlessly again are thinking right now. Like, I really am curious, at the beginning of the protests against ICE and the town halls that were happening, there were a couple of sort of skirmishes that were happening between Army vets and either the cops or the Proud Boys dressed up as ICE agents or whatever. And I was hopeful for a little bit that was going to be a fight that would possibly have some teeth to it. But I think, unfortunately, what you said earlier, that now not the regular civilians, but like the army, the military, everybody is so owned by the billionaires, and people are scared. But actually, I still don't understand why more veterans aren't speaking up. And maybe they are. I know there are hotlines for them. I know Mike Preisner has talked about people who are really panicked. They're being asked to come do National Guard duty to arrest American citizens, which is illegal, who are protesting against ICE detaining people who, a lot of them are American citizens. But again, I don't care if you're an American citizen or not, you're a person, all of this. So that still is one avenue of hope that I don't want to let go of.
Yeah. I
don't
know. I struggle with this a little bit, but I think, and pardon me for how I'm going to phrase this, but I think less people will die in a war with Iran in a way, because you're not looking at the Iraq war. We were asking, 100,000 people to go fight in the desert under conditions that
well, not yet, but that might.
No, but
right.
But Iran isn't that. It isn't that. It's a country that has 90 million people. As Tucker pointed out. Yeah. But it has large cities. It's an established. It's not some sort of third world.
But so was Iraq before we destroyed it, right? Baghdad. I mean, they're places that we destroyed, so now they're not like that. But I don't know. It's a huge place, and plus they can bomb all of our troops that we're now stationing in the Middle East, right?
Yes. If you let me finish, that's
okay.
That's where I was going with this. Is that, look, we're going to be stationing troops nearby, and they're going to be under threat, but most of the actual warfare is going to be drones and missiles and bombs. Right. It's not going to be the same. If you look at the death count, it'll never compare to Iraq. So it won't. No matter what happens, it's not going to be the same in that regard. It just isn't.
Sure, until they decide that we're going to put boots on the ground. I mean, I just don't know. You might be right.
But you
I don't
can't
know.
put boots on the ground in a. I mean, you can put some, but you're not going to. It's not the same fight. It just isn't. It's a totally different scenario. So I think that gives cover to this war to be supported longer, because you're not going to see the death tolls, that no matter what happens, they're not going to be the same as Iraq was. I'm putting that out as a warning. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying that gives them permission to extend this thing in the brutality we're going to commit to the people over there longer, because the public won't turn on it, even though we're already against it. But we won't have the 100,000 people died in this fight. We won't have.
Not yet. I have no idea. We saw George W. say mission accomplished, and then went on for, another 2 decades in the Middle East. So maybe you're right. I don't know. I feel like people are furious right now. They are. 60% of us live under the poverty line. People can't afford to own a home or rent or food or education or healthcare. So I think that there's a possibility that there is more anger, but I also I will never underestimate the capacity for anybody in power to destroy as many lives as possible on their way, even on their way out. Like, I just don't know. But I understand what you're saying. But like, that's what they thought with the Iraq war too, right? It was like a video game.
I'm not saying that the public is going to support this. I'm not saying there won't be a lot of U.S. deaths, but I'm saying it'll be very different than Iraq. It's going to be very different from Iraq just based on what the country you're fighting. It's like saying going into Iraq is the same as going into Russia directly. It's not. They're very different countries.
Right.
They're not as similar as U.S. propaganda wants people to think.
Right.
This is a civilian, big city, big industry. You know, there's a lot going on in Iran. It's just very different.
I think, and I'm writing down that today is Sunday, June 22nd, 2025. I wish I had written down the date of the show when you said there was no way that Trump was going to be the Republican.
No, but what's important here is what is your takeaway that you're writing down that you think I'm saying is going to happen? Because I'm not saying the public won't turn on it. Right. They're against it already.
Yeah. I'm saying I think that there's a chance that we will have boots on the ground because we are
and I'm not saying
arrogant.
I'm not saying we won't have boots on the ground,
Iran.
But I'm also saying even if you have boots on the ground, it's a very different warfare in cities than it is in Iraq.
But you see what we do to cities. Do you know what I mean? Like look at Gaza. Also, by the way, look at Tel Aviv right now, right? Like, but it takes very little to make something not feel like a city anymore.
Okay, but you're making my point in that what we do to cities is not from boots on the ground. What we do to cities is from above. It's from drones. We're in the new warfare era where we're not going to have the civilian casualties that turn people off against Iraq, no matter what happens. It's not going to be there.
My point is just the way the IDF destroyed all of Gaza and then boots on the ground. That is the way I think that the US, that arrogance that they have, the audacity to think we're going to destroy, we destroyed your ability to enrich uranium or to enrich, to make your nuclear weapons. We are only attacking the people who are in charge as we level whole apartment buildings and whole cities. And then once that's happened and we tell people this is your warning to go to this refugee camp, and I don't know. I think that that's part of the strategy is we destroy cities and then we put boots on the ground, because what are these people going to do once we've sort of taken away their infrastructure? But I mean, I know we're both just sort of hypothesizing. It's all evil. I know we both agree on that. I don't think that there's like a great plan here,
Well, the plan they want is regime change. So ultimately they get a better deal on oil or something, like that's kind of what they were looking for. But that they're going to bomb the infrastructure. They're going to try to do what they can to take out the leadership. We're straight up assassinating, we're going in to assassinate people. That's the US. I mean, can you be more terrorist than that? Especially when you're talking about assassinating negotiators. But that's the plan. We're propping up some government in the background and hoping that they take power.
Yep.
But you can't turn Iran into Gaza. It's not even this. That's not related. You're not going to flatten all of Iran. I mean,
you're not going to flatten all of Iran, but I do feel like what we did to Libya, what we did to Iraq, what we allow. I mean, you're right. Obviously, it's much bigger than Gaza, but human life means nothing to these people. So whether they are leveling, I mean, the new numbers that are coming out, what was it, 6 months ago? I think, oh my gosh, the scientific, the Lancet said that there were probably upwards of 200,000 Palestinians under the rubble. Harvard just came out with a new statistic thinking it's probably more like 330,000 people who have been slaughtered. And obviously, that's a big percentage of a much smaller group of people. But I just think that for the people who feel so shielded from repercussions from any of their actions, anyway, I mean, on some level, none of it matters because they're just going to do what they do. They're going to destroy more lives. And I hope that there is much more outcry and that people who are in the military are able to fight against it before they're sent off to another completely unnecessary, grotesque war.
Amen. And I agree on all of that. I'm saying what I'm saying to put it out as a warning that the normal stop check on, this is an intolerable war is civilian death toll, U.S. military death toll. And I don't think we're going to get that. So we need to stop this. That marker, we're in the new modern warfare era.
Yeah. I hear
look
you.
At
I
what Israel,
look
at what Israel and the U.S. have done to Gaza. And what's the death toll of Israelis in that? It's nothing relative to what they've done to Gaza.
Yeah. Right. Which is also, I'm sorry for saying this again, but I do think it's why it's similar enough that's why we were in Iraq for as long as we were. That's why we were in Afghanistan 20 years, $2 trillion just to hand power back to the Taliban. I mean, nothing seems to have a consequence. So I understand what you're saying. I feel like this video game war, even though this is at a bigger scale, possibly is where we've been living, and people are able to go about their days for the most part, although they were able to do that much more under even George W. Bush, who became toxic, and anybody who supported that war for a while was toxic. And then under Obama, if you call Obama a war criminal to a normie Dem lib, they bristle. He started 5 wars when he was president that were completely did not go through Congress for authorization. He bombed, weddings, knowing that was a civilian gathering. He bombed hospitals. The only time I think in our history that a Nobel Peace Prize winner bombs another Nobel Peace Prize winner with Doctors Without Borders, I think. We have normalized these people in power doing the most horrific acts against people across the world, but also here. And that is, I know we're in agreement, like the boomerang effect of the way
obviously
that's here.
And that's where Democrats can go farther because they're portrayed as the good guys, and that branding of the caring good guy thing has gotten them to this point. And there's no other option because it's either the caring good guy who's lying to you or the openly fucking evil guy.
Yep.
So that has served them well.
All right.
Daniel called it. We're
never going to finish the show.
It's going to be a 17-hour show. Let's go.
Yeah, we just got through our first video. We only have 98 left. Let's spin, and then we can figure out where we go from here because there is a lot to tackle. Clearly,
yeah, baby.
That is what I'm talking about.
Excellent.
Okay, closing and spinning. Sorry, 1 second. Hard to do 2 things at the same time. Ah.
Yeah, baby.
Good thing you wrapped those right before the show.
This is sort of political, sort of not. It's a good little true timeline cleanse, I think.
You cheated. As of now, everyone in this room's test scores from last week have been tossed. They've been developing test questions for a brand new exam that you are going to take to make up for last week's scores right now. By some miracle, you all managed to score even better on yesterday's exam. We're going to take another exam with questions written by me and me only, which means I'm also the only person in the world who could help you cheat. And guess what? I'm not going to do that. So how'd you do it? Here's what we're going to do. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 100. You get it right, you pass this class. You get it wrong, you fail. Yesterday, when Jeremy guessed 17, I was thinking to myself, well, that's just lucky Jeremy. And then when Eric and Michaela and Tori all correctly guessed the numbers that I was thinking of, I began to lose all faith in reason. One of you has implanted a chip into my brain. I'm coming for you. But what remains to be seen is if you can tell me what's going to happen in my future. These are my mother's ashes. She died, as you all accurately answered on your exam. I can't teach you anything. You already know everything. You already know everything. What are the winning Powerball numbers this weekend? Woo! I'm fucking rich! Wait a minute. Is my wife cheating on me? I fucking knew it, that fucking bitch. Do aliens really exist? Who killed JFK? 9/11. Let's start with Tower 7. What really happened? How do I become best friends with Bruno Mars? Bruno Mars just asked me to open for him at MetLife. Well, that was insane. The feeling of euphoria can never be that good again, right? Right? You guys are absolutely sure about this? How do I get off heroin? When am I going to die? So little time left. Israel, Palestine. How do we fix that? You gave me the Nobel Peace Prize, huh? What are we doing about Ukraine? I've been offered Secretary of State, but it's not enough. How do I overthrow the president? All right, he's dead. But I think his wife's on me. What am I supposed to do? All right, she's dead. Who should I pick as my VP? I don't fucking need you. You need me. I don't need you. You need me. Well, you guys were right.
That's very funny. That's very funny. Yeah, maybe we'll
That was
all
very what the fuck.
Very what the fuck. I love it. Lots of questions in there. That's very funny. All right. Are we going to continue our talking about World War III?
Yeah, let's go back. No, I'm just kidding. Let's keep. What's next? What do we got?
What do we got? Okay. Is there anything else we want to talk about with Iran or Israel before we return home? I mean, there's a lot.
We can listen to JD Vance.
Yeah, that was this morning with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press. Wait, sorry.
Our view has been very clear that we don't want a regime change. We do not want to protract this or build this out any more than it's already been built out. We want to end their nuclear program, and then we want to talk to the Iranians about a long-term settlement here. We believe very strongly that there are two pathways. There's a pathway where Iran continues to fund terrorism, continues to try to build a nuclear program, attacks American troops. That's the bad pathway for Iran, and it will be met with overwhelming force. There's another pathway on the table here. There's a pathway where Iran integrates itself into the international community, stops funding terrorism, and stops trying to pursue a nuclear weapon. This is a reset. This is an opportunity for the Iranians to take the smart path. We certainly hope that they will.
Okay. 1, they don't want a nuclear weapon. 2, define terrorism. And this is why, like, you know, Bernie's mealy mouth, like, oh, Hamas has to go. Why are they defined as terrorists? They're not by the UN. They're not by the New York Times up until October 7th. They weren't even by the US. The US had taken them off the terrorist list. Yeah. Define what makes a terror organization.
I mean, blowing up pagers in people's hands when they're around kids and whatnot. Yeah. I think that's kind of terroristic from the old definition.
Yep. Occupying somebody's land, building illegal settlements, shooting as many kids as you can at the knees to see how many you can make become amputees. Like
putting food out to people you've starved for fucking months and then shooting hundreds of them and killing hundreds of them. That's not terrorism.
Never asked. She doesn't say anything. And I don't know if it's her complete ignorance or it's just because she's got somebody in her ear telling her, you know, she's just more worried about like, well, what if they try to prevent ships going through, you know, the Strait of Farouz? God, my brain. I'm sorry. I'm still on pain meds and my whole face is still swollen and I have a bruise here from my dental stuff. If you see me like going like that, that's why. I apologize. I'm a little out of it. But she never pushes back. She doesn't say anything. They were at the table. They were at the table, and then you killed the people showing up to the table. just the way Israel did with Ismail Haniyeh, right? Like nobody ever pushes back. So he gets to say these things that are so
and
just lies.
And if he says there's two paths, there's nothing there's nothing checkable about any of his, like, they're on this path thing, right? Because they're already not doing most of the things he's saying. It's just a blanket statement by the US that they're pursuing this nuclear thing. So we can't check that, like, okay, they're not doing that. They need to come and negotiate and talk. Well, you can't check that. I mean, they were doing that before. So,
and they were complying. Nothing, no pushback.
Yeah. Basically, you've given no recourse for this person to, or this country to get in line with what you want, because you want a war.
Yes. Which is, I'm sure everybody has seen that General Wesley Clark speech. I think he gave it in 2007. He was at some, it wasn't congressional, but some, NGO organizations meeting and talking about how right after 9/11, he got the call that they were US was going to go to war against Iraq. And he said, but why? That's not where Osama bin Laden and the people who carried out that attack were coming from. They said, no, but we've got these countries we're going to take out. And of course, Iran was the last one. But this has been an ongoing plan. And the reason it's allowed to continue is because our media is wholly purchased also by the exact same people. And so most regular people watch the news, they see that, and they're like, oh, it is a global sponsor of terrorism.
Yeah. And still they don't support what we're doing. So that tells you a lot about how much they've lost the narrative.
Yeah. I thought that this was interesting. Obviously, Israel is always saying that everybody wants it not to exist anymore. I am one of those people. I do not think that Israel should exist, but it does. So at this point, what needs to happen for it to continue? What reparations? What has to happen for Palestinians? And who's going to ensure that? I don't know. But I thought Gideon Levy, who is a liberal Zionist, I do not agree with everything he says, in spite of the fact that he, has been really outspoken against this genocide for the past couple of years. But I think I thought that his assessment of how Israel presents itself to the world is sort of important to hear, especially for the thing that Israel and Zionists do is that they are the chosen people. So it's this Jewish supremacy that nobody's ever suffered as much as they have. And that World War II, the Holocaust, was the worst, atrocity against a population in the history, or at least in the 20th century, which isn't even true in the 20th century. But it's like the tripartite structure that has allowed them to say, we need an Israeli ethno-state to exist. And I think he dismantles it pretty well in this clip.
If we are the chosen people, who are you to tell us what to do? Who are you? Who is the international community to tell Israel what to do? International law? Who? Wonderful thing. It doesn't apply on us. It applies on any other place on earth, not on Israel. Because we are the chosen people. Don't you understand it? The second very deep-rooted value is obviously the value of we, the victims, not only the biggest victims, but the only victims around. I know many occupations which were longer than Israeli occupation, than the Israeli occupation. Some were even more brutal, even though it's getting harder and harder to be more brutal than the Israeli occupation. I don't recall one occupation in which the occupier present himself as the victim. Not only the victim, the only victim. If to quote here the late Golda Meir, whom I quoted also last time, I know, but it is so unforgettable I have to use it again. She once said that we will never forgive the Arabs for forcing us to kill their children. We are the victims. We are forced to kill their children. Poor us. And as the victim and the only victim in history, again, it enables us the rights to do whatever we want, and nobody is going to tell us what to do, because we are the only victims. To this, there is a third, very deep-rooted value, and this is the very deep belief. Again, everyone will deny it, but if you scratch under the skin of almost every Israeli, you'll find it there. The Palestinians are not equal human beings like us. They are not like us. They don't love their children like us. They don't love life like us. They were born to kill. They are cruel. They are sadists. They have no values, no manners. Look how they kill us. This is very, very deep-rooted in Israeli society, and maybe that's the key issue. Because as long as this continues, nothing will move. As long as most of the Israelis don't perceive the Palestinians as equal human beings, we are so much better than them. We are so much developed than them. And we are so much human than them. As long as this is the case, all our dreams, and we have some dreams, and I'll get to them, all our dreams will never become true as long as this core issue will not change.
I think it's really important he's not an anti-Zionist. I think he considers himself a liberal Zionist, but I think it's so important for people, especially anti-Zionists, to continue to point out our rejection of Israel as an ethno-state. It doesn't make us safer. It's not a democracy. It was never a democracy. And that lie was allowed to persist for far too long, enabling this. Excuse me. So, yeah, I
agree with you. Look, if you took any group of people in the world and said, you're going to live here, the city has to be like 90% you white people, it's going to turn into an abusive situation. This is how it started, and it's just gotten worse. And none of this happens without the U.S. That's the important part, as it relates.
100%.
None of this. So we are all guilty in this country of the shame that Germans felt is falling on us. And if we're not fighting to stop this
loudly,
it's on us.
Yeah. 100%. All right. Should we spin before we come back home to the United States?
If you have to ask, yes, please.
Okay. I didn't want to be scolded for not letting you speak again.
Oh, did I scold you? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's as spicy as we've ever gotten. I don't even think we disagree.
There we go. Perfect. All right, I'm closing it. Go ahead. Pick it.
Oh my God. Oh.
Their ears are so sensitive.
I will be trying this later.
You have to record it if you do. And I think once again, that was a truth to tweet share for us. So thank you. That just, that
I don't need more cat puke in my house, but I will do it. Thankfully I have wood floors largely, but
yeah, do it over a wood floor for sure.
The latest thing with Strike is she demands for me to pour the sink water on so she could drink from the tap, like
ding, ding, ding. Right.
Several times a day. Every time I go into the bathroom, she demands I turn on. So she drinks too much water and then pukes because it's so fun to drink all the water.
Oh
she
my God,
loves drinking all the water.
Does she puke water, or is it like puke?
It's like it's puke and the cat food she just ate or something. It's
right. Yeah.
It's easy to clean up, but it's it's still, it is what it is.
Josh took Lucky on a walk today, and she found, he let her off leash in an enclosed area at the park. It's all grass. And then there's always like one area that's marshy, gross, and you don't know what it is. If it's like some sewer pipe that exploded, and you don't see it until your dog drops in it and like rolls all over. So he came back and just was like spraying her with water, and she did not like it. It might be the one moment that she prefers me to him. Otherwise, she's
I just noticed, yeah, you're saying I should do it now. I got to buy a comb because you know, I don't have a lot of hair underneath this hat right here. So
that's funny.
I will buy a comb and make it happen here. So let's do it.
You got to record it. You have
I
to
will record it
when it happens.
Let's go.
All right, let's move back to domestic politics, which it is really hilarious to see Democrats just not know what to do. And again, listen, I have no doubt, because of the way life is, that if Zoran Mandani wins the mayoral election in New York, he will disappoint me, because that's the way it happens. But right now, I'm super psyched for the way he responds to the people around him, the way he responds to idiotic questions about visiting Israel as the mayor of New York, about being an anti-Semite, about this war on Iran, the way he is like in the streets with the people, like a mayor of a city should be.
We are back in full agreement, by the way.
We are?
Finally. Look at that.
No, I like to. You don't want to keep fighting.
Right.
Does that make you nervous, Pat? I'm joking. I'm totally joking. We weren't fighting. I was just talking too much. I do think that maybe the meds are making. I'm gonna put everything on the meds in my deep pain in my job. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just gonna say, just like Bernie doing his oligarchy tour, although I do think Zoran Mandani has like concrete plans that he's talking about in New York, the way Bernie did when he was running for president. But it's more of a symbol to the Democratic establishment. This is what the people want. I know we all know it. We show every poll. We're about to show another poll. We all know it. But I just want it. I want to rub their vile faces in the reality that we reject them. They are not on the left. They are far right. Democrats
and
are
I think
far right.
I think as much as look, there's some similarities to AOC in this realm. I think the difference is a mayor does not answer to the party in the same way that a senator or congressperson does. Right. They are very independent if they want to be from the powers pushing against them within the party, which you've seen. You know, we've had what's her name in Seattle?
Shama Sawant.
Shama Sawant. And so look, if he wins, we'll know quickly what he's about. And I think it's not going to take like a 4-year transition to, AOC isn't that good. You know, we're going to know. I
think he's better than AOC.
Oh, he is. He is. I don't know that he's going to stay there.
Yeah.
But I do have more optimism and I feel better supporting his campaign than if it was the same guy. If he was running for the Senate, I'd be like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I don't give a single fuck. But for mayor,
he's like a chief executive. He's like,
yes, right? You can do things. You can show your power. So 100%. Let's see it.
100%. So this is just this poll. Shocker. I mean, imagine you have to see this again. But Democratic voters want new leaders focused on pocketbook issues. And this is 18 through 39 and 40 and older is on the right. 18 through 39 is on the left. But for both, their priorities for all the people polled were universal health care, above 80%. Affordable childcare, above 80%. Higher taxes on the rich. For some reason, 18 through 39 is only at 79%, but 40 and older, 89%. All of these, gun control, higher minimum wage, all of these are at least in the 70s. Except, again, this is so crazy. Money in politics is only 62% for the younger voters. It is in the 70s for the older voters. But the thing that this shows is majority, popular across the whole spectrum for all of these policies. Then on the left, just as a quick reminder, we don't need to go through each number, but the left of each bar is what they think the party leaders prioritize. And those, they all know, people know, Democratic voters know that the leaders, the people who are elected to represent us, don't care. And I mean, they give them way too much benefit of the doubt, because I see like 5 people who ever are even talking about any of these things who are, in power. But these are the popular positions. We all know it. And so running around throwing $20 million at Eunice, whoever the hell, to figure out, a study on what men want. I mean, it's just such a waste of money. You have Patty Solis Doyle, former Clinton campaign chief. We're leaderless, we're messageless, we're agendaless.
That was almost our show title.
Yeah.
Because it was such a toss-up. But yeah, she summed it up. That's it.
Yeah.
Leaderless, messageless. What was the other one?
Leaderless, messageless,
agendaless.
But they're not.
How can you be agendaless? Like, I mean,
they're not.
It's
they're
the
for the
easiest thing
billionaires, by the billionaires. They're agenda.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know. Go ahead. I'm talking.
Well, no, obviously it's the same thing. It's just if you want to win, you have to at least pretend to have an agenda. You have to pretend you have some leaders. You got to put some people out there. You got to pretend this stuff, and they can't even do that.
Abundance.
Abundance. And the sad thing is they are going to win the midterms. I mean, they're going to win enough seats to get the Congress back, the House back.
Watch what they do with it.
It's baked into the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So then, the progressive people are going to lose, going to put all the money against them. Centrists are going to win. We've seen this same play for fucking 50 years.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But the big concern right now among centrist Democrats, I hate calling them centrist. They're not center. They're far right. They're corporate owned, sounding the alarm that a surging Democratic Socialist mayoral candidate in New York City's Tuesday primary could further set back the party's already beleaguered national brand. What's the national brand? Owned by billionaires.
Yeah.
Losers.
What's the national brand? They don't tell you that. And then they don't tell you his name in the title.
Of course.
They kept that out because, you don't want to boost the guy. Because
Yeah.
everyone's going to be like, ooh, who's the guy? Who's the guy who's going to fucking wreck
Where
the
do I
brand?
cast my vote?
Because I want that brand wrecked.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
fucking go.
And then, as I think this was Matt Stoller pointed out, this is the New York Times. So on Wednesday, we showed, what's her face? Annie Lowrey in The Atlantic, married, of course, to Ezra Klein, shitting all over Zoran and any sort of progressive politics, right? Like, why are you buying things if things are so expensive? Eggs never should have been so cheap. Deregulation's the way forward. Anyway, so now the New York Times, who has already endorsed Cuomo, amazingly endorsed Cuomo. But so Matt Stoller points out that in just last week, Mamdani lacks the instinct for compromise that has made Bernie Sanders, his fellow Democratic socialist, effective. But then in 2020, during the primaries, compromise is anathema to Sanders. Only his prescriptions are the right ones, even though most are rigid, untested, and divisive. What's crazy is in 2020, we all knew, even Republicans were all the reason that Bernie was the amendment king was because he was always compromising. He would find somebody across the aisle who he disagreed with on everything, but they could, for Medicare for veterans, they could come to an agreement, or, he was always compromising, which they knew. They're just all liars. And that is our fourth estate, which is why you can lie and say that Iran is a threat to the whole world and you get no pushback.
And it's just a perfect example. It's these two working together, the guy pushing the abundance theory within the Democratic Party, which the Democrats want to latch onto because it gives them permission to not actually change and be Republican or be right wing, like deregulate, keep this thing going, right? His wife is writing fucking hit pieces on the progressives in the party.
Yep.
The uselessness of mainstream media at this point. I mean, as far as doing something that benefits the public, they're just propaganda.
I mean, it is 100%. It's the craziest thing, and they don't even care. They don't care that they're called out on their lies. They don't care that everything is on the internet forever.
There's no consequence. Look, Jeffrey Toobin jerking off gets his job back. If you're gonna, they don't care. They don't have any shame.
They're endorsing Cuomo, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't rehire the guy who had to come on TV and apologize about jerking off on a fucking Zoom call with his colleagues.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I mean, that feels so like quaint in comparison to what some of these people do,
it is. But like, I couldn't go if I worked at Home Depot. I couldn't get my job back at Home Depot. Sorry about the jerking off to you guys with the whole Zoom call. But he can go on TV and be the fucking guy talking about health stuff and legal stuff in the news. You know, like
as long as he shits all over the left and the working class. Yeah. Have at it.
All right.
Jerk away. All right. So, just as a reminder that Cuomo joined a legal defense team to defend Netanyahu against the ICC's war crime claim. So he is defending somebody who is committing genocide. If we make it past World War III, anybody who supported Israel, especially in these last 2 years, as they committed genocide, will have safe haven in the U.S. as long as they work for NATO or NASA. Because Nazis seem always to rise. His super PACs, this is Cuomo, pro-Cuomo super PACs have flooded the mayoral fundraising race. He is at 35.6 million with his super PACs. And he even had he was coordinating with one of them. He had to return like over $600,000. I mean, he is such a scum of the earth. And if that weren't already clear, the people who have come out to endorse him make it even more clear. Bloomberg pours more cash into Cuomo's super PAC, bringing his total contribution to $8.3 million from Michael Bloomberg, who, by the way, as a reminder, used prison labor, forcing them to make robocalls for him in 2020. Slave labor. Then, hey, Democratic superstar Bill Clinton, because two sexual assaulters will always have each other's back. And then the kingmaker, Jim Clyburn, once the highest ranking Black member of Congress, will endorse Cuomo today and make robocalls, urging New Yorkers to vote this weekend before it gets hotter. The stars are all out.
Yeah. So when whoever it was saying that the party's leaderless. No, this is your leader. This is him. Eric Adams is your leader. Cuomo's your leader. These guys, Cuomo's your leader that the whole party's getting behind, who killed everyone during COVID. He was the antidote to Trump with his this is how, let me tell you the truth. And every day he was on CNN and MSNBC, which pox on them for fucking doing that. Just putting that guy out there who was lying. As the antidote. Sexual assaults galore. The guy's corrupt as all fuck. No, everybody fucking knows it. And they're rehabbing him.
Yeah, totally rehabbing him. It's so disgusting. And it's all because their worry is city-run grocery stores so people can afford to live there. Oh, and then the other thing, Bill Ackerman said, the billionaire who spent millions of dollars trying to get Columbia students never to be hired by law firms. He said he won't leave New York, but billionaires are going to be leaving if the taxes go up on them. They are so worried about losing a penny. You will never be able to spend $1 billion ever. What you could do is not hoard it all like a disgusting fucking pig, ensuring that people don't have homes, don't have food, don't have health. That's what you could do. But no, we have to be worried that they might move out of the city. Get the fuck out. Go. Go.
Yes. If you think, the tax rate on billionaires is so low, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but having him in your city, he is finding local ways to fuck all of you locally too. Yeah. They have their claws in all the money, all the power, getting them out, taking every tax dollar away. Those tax dollars don't make up for the current local shit they're doing bad to your city.
Yep.
I guarantee it.
100%.
And the reason the Democrats don't want it, obviously, is, hey, if you make a good example of New Yorkers going, we like this shit, it's just like if you did it in California. It's the same thing. If you have these big, really influential cities and states, changing perspective of like
The
our
paradigm
guy
of what
here,
we can do for our people, right?
like the example of just one of these cities being successful at leftist shit is such a risk to the Democrats because they have to actually have more of these kind of people in their party then.
Yeah. I still will just never understand the mentality. Like, it is just such a deep pathology that billionaires will never be satisfied. They will never have enough, no matter what. Like, I honestly, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand where that comes from.
I understand it actually because it's very rare. Being a billionaire is one of the rarest things in the world, right? So to get there, you have to have one of the rarest, most sociopathic personalities.
Right.
That's all it is. They all have the same, at the core, evil personality. I'm telling you, there is no good billionaire. Some of them convince themselves they're doing good, and some of them are just like, no, I'm pure evil. 90% of them are just like, I'm just pure evil. I'm just, but yeah.
People have convinced themselves because of philanthropy, which should not exist. In a just world, we would not need philanthropy. So the same people who create the situations that force people to be homeless or not have healthcare or whatever it is, those people then give a couple crumbs in their philanthropic, Bill Gates.
Yeah, like that.
And then that's a way of laundering his reputation. But we wouldn't need his philanthropy in the first place if he didn't use his exorbitant bank accounts to fuck over the whole working class in the whole world. So like, that's
amen.
Just unbelievable. All right. Do we have any DNC, anything? Oh, we didn't even get to this, but like, first of all, where the fuck is Kamala? She wanted to be the leader of the free world, the leader of our country with the most lethal army. Like, she doesn't speak out at all about anything. Barack Obama just said something about, we're in the throes of authoritarianism. War criminal Barack Obama, who oversaw the biggest transfer of money from the black middle class upwards to his billionaire pals. So they've just been totally absent. Van Jones, former progressive, who lost his job because was that because of the woman who is in charge of agriculture saying something? I can't even remember, but he lost his job under Obama because he dared to say one sort of pro-working class thing. But here he is. Who cares? Are we doing the get on board? Should we show it?
Yeah, let's show it.
Let's show it. I hate these people. I'm going to fill up.
He's buying himself some time in some room. I was also in the Holy Land very recently. I think progressives underestimate how dangerous Iran is. Iran is not a normal country. Normal countries don't blind women because they showed some hair. They don't empower little gangs and proxies to surround a country and fire rockets and rape people. So Iran, the two things are clear. The what, they cannot have a bomb, and the why, because they say death to America, death to Israel, and death to all the Jews. One of those should offend you if you're progressive. At least one should offend you. And so the question, though, is the who and the how. Is Israel going to take out this nuclear capacity by dropping people there who blow it up? Or is America going to take it out by dropping a bomb that blows it up? But the what and the why are clear, and I think progressives should get on board with that. We cannot have a nuclear-armed Iran. I was in the region. You were in the region. This is a very dangerous power that cannot get a nuclear weapon.
They don't want no nuclear weapon.
I love how he just spews Israeli propaganda about, these kind of people. Like, they're so different. And let's talk about what the Israelis are doing. Like they're not different people. You have more brutality coming from the Israelis. So for him to put that on progressives, like, you guys don't understand what's going on. He's the biggest piece of shit, phoniest leftist.
Yeah. And again, no pushback from anybody there. Taking a whole country and smearing it like this. And as Zainab is saying, yeah, the U.S. just forced a a legally dead woman to give birth, just become a vessel for a baby that at the time, an embryo or a fetus that was, I think, 9 weeks old, kept her on life support as a vessel to grow a 9-week-old embryo to full term to deliver a baby. And yes, as you said, like yesterday, as we all did, video after video, a little baby, and they pan down and the baby's leg that's been severed off by a bomb is lying next to it on the table. There's no sterilization. There's no anesthesia. There's no clean water. There's like, who's barbaric? And again, I am not saying I would not want to live, honestly. Of course, I don't want to live under a regime that I would not want to live under Iran's regime. I wouldn't. But what we are enabling other countries to do in our name for safety, and again, part of the reason I want to live in some of these places is because we bomb the hell out of them. Like and look what we do to our own people here. I don't know. It's just so unbelievable that they can say these things out loud, the racism that's been made acceptable in public from somebody who considers himself on the left, knowing what Israel's doing.
That's what bothers me the most about him is he's always put up there as he's like some sort of Bernie guy,
Yeah.
And he'll occasionally come out and support, a protester or a movement or something, but he's not the left. And they put him out there as he's the guy on the left. Yeah. So, hey, even the guy on the left is saying
exactly
Iran is bad here. Even he's saying we got to stop these guys. And it's just a fraudulent positioning of the true political stances of America.
It is. And as you're saying, like what that does is allow people to see whole countries and their citizens as being less than, as somehow deserving to have a foreign country drop bombs on them, or insisting that they don't have a nuclear weapon, which, again, they say they don't want. But even if they did, who the hell are we to tell another nation that they can't have a nuclear weapon? That's not our job. Or that they have to change their leadership. Yeah. That's not our job.
We're telling them that while we're backing the country that has nukes, that everybody knows has nukes, but we can't recognize has nukes because it would make everything we're doing illegal. And we're telling them they can't have a bomb. And everything from the entire history of the world says, hey, if you're a fucking foreign country, you want to get a nuclear bomb because then you'll get the U.S. off your fucking back.
Yep. Well, and especially now, like we've made everybody less safe in the whole world. Reflect the sun. Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. I need to get a beer.
Yeah, get a beer.
Do we spin? Do you want to spin something?
Yeah. Should we spin and then
we'll get a beer.
Okay, spin, we'll get a beer. Whoops, I'm a mess here. 1 second. I'm taking this off. Spin, and then we can see how the U.S. treats its own citizens with its...
Lovely, I'm sure.
Did I just do that? Yeah, sorry. All right, here we go. Spinning.
Yeah, baby.
My beer.
All right. See, you knew it. You said you're going to go get a beer. You knew. Okay, close.
Yeah, baby.
What? I got to open a new bottle. 1 second.
Third time's a charm here.
Third time. Here we go. I might have to remove it if you keep going.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, no. We don't have an Ava. Okay.
Okay, wait, I can force. Here's a funny song. Okay. I don't know about funny, but I enjoyed it. This is kind of humorous, kind of relates to
Pat, stuff. You don't need to explain your sense of humor. We get it.
All right. You're stuck with it.
Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to?
More jobs, less automation. Yeah. Prioritize education. Yeah. More income in this nation. Yeah. We got the answer with a tiny bit of legislation. Kids, back down the mines. Yeah. Kids, back down the mines. Yeah. Kids, back down the mines. Kids, back down the mines. All right, so you're not all sold on that one, so we'll try another angle, okay? Equal opportunities. Yeah. Include the minorities. Yeah. Help to all the refugees. Yeah. We got the answer if you give us some authority. Immigrants down in the mines. Yeah. Immigrants down in the mines. Yeah. Immigrants down in the mines. Immigrants down in the mines. It's a tough crowd.
Stop talking about mines.
You give it a go then.
Help folks to reach some success. Recognize the skills they possess. It's time for us to progress.
Installing ramps for easy access. Come on everyone, you all know the word. Disabled people down in the mines. Yeah. Disabled people down in the mines. Disabled people down in the mines. Disabled people down in the mines. Down in the mines.
You're sure we didn't show that?
Somebody would have screamed at us for it.
I think so. I think so too. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's just visit in with our newest Gestapo. We've got Florida Sheriff Wayne Ivey talking about how ICE is going to deal with protesters.
So I'm gonna break it down for you. All right. And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that are being attacked, being spit on, being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order.
I hope he has a miserable death very soon. I don't know if I can say that.
You spit on us, you're going to the hospital.
You throw a rock, we're going to notify your family that you're dead. You go to jail, you're going to be bitten by a dog. Like, this is like that. He should immediately be fired by the governor of the state, like immediately.
Yeah. And he won't be, obviously. It's a Republican state. Wouldn't it be so great if Democrats spoke up about what's happening in other states and the way we are treating people who are enjoying their constitutionally protected right to protest, which only ever turns violent when the cops show up, or not.
Yeah,
only,
well, that's
but
exactly it.
98% of the time.
These are not mobs running out there to attack cops. They're people protesting who are getting violence against them from the cops for protesting. And then they react back. And this guy is saying, well, you're going to end up dead.
To protect and to serve whom? They're not even trying. We have so many different ICE videos from this week. We're just going to kind of go through the first little bits of each one, but it's terrifying that they are doing this to anybody. They're doing it to US citizens. They are doing it primarily to people who look like they're not citizens. What does that even mean? We all know what it means, but like, that is their, like, that's where they're starting from. That facial what was the thing that they brought in? And like, I think it was actually under Obama, but you know, like the race capabilities, the racial profiling. That's so they're taking anybody who looks at all brown on any level or not white and assuming that that person must be not only not American, but here illegally and must confront the full force of their.
Yeah, and this is where it intersects with the AI takeover too, because that technology is being used to say, yeah, you could be a bad guy. And then once you could be a bad guy, the police can do whatever the fuck they want because you could be a bad guy.
That's right. And just as a reminder, this just came out. 65% of people taken by ICE had no convictions and 93% had no violent convictions. So a parking ticket or, you know, sometimes it's filling out a form improperly that they will get them on. So here's just some of what's happened this past week. A lot has been in the greater Los Angeles area. This was outside of a Walmart in Los Angeles. This guy is a U.S. citizen. Again, nobody should be treated like this, but just as a reminder, he is a U.S. citizen.
Look at these fuckers, little bitches. Hey, fuck you. Hey, what the fuck? Hey, what the fuck? Hey, why the fuck you guys touching people? Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here.
He fucking touched me, bro. Hey, what the fuck? What is he doing? He's a fucking hard worker, bro.
Hey, now, the fuck down. Hey, chill. Hey, we're taking that motherfucker. I'm giving this. I'm not doing shit, dude. Chill. I'm not doing shit. Hey, what the fuck, dude? You can't be doing that shit. This is my civil right. I can fucking record you if I want. Hey, yo, what the fuck? Look.
Put it in the car. Put it in the car.
Hey, these are legal citizens, you fucking pieces of shit. Fuck you.
Put it in the car.
As of yesterday morning, there were still pleas trying to find, P-L-E-A-S, not police, sorry, trying to find where he is. He was just taken away. Here's another U.S. citizen arrested in the valley.
He said he's a U.S. citizen. He said he's a U.S. citizen.
Why run? All right. What the hell, man? I get my ticket, you know what the hell? You don't do nothing wrong, dude. Why are you running? Why are you
Exactly.
Because I'm beating, bro.
Imagine asking, why are you running? Why the fuck wouldn't everybody run from these Gestapo, like face hidden, wearing their t-shirts and
Look,
almost all like, you know, culled from the Proud Boy network.
If you see someone with a gun and there's not a clear identification, they're police, I'm running, I'm getting a bat, I'm getting whatever I can to fucking attack the fuck out of one of these people to protect myself if I can.
Yep.
But running is the first fucking move when you see an armed person that you don't understand their intentions.
Waving a gun at you, coming after you for what? For why? Another.
I see you though.
What's your name, sir?
Say
your name.
Jesus.
Are you from
here?
Oh my God, they're just taking this man, dude.
I see you.
Dude,
Look, they're not, like, what uniform is that they're wearing? Why are they doing this?
This is so scary, you guys. Poor man, dude. Like, so many people are taking this man.
And they're
but all
wearing
these guys
like,
can just hide their fucking faces.
Yep. Here's another one. This goes on for 4 minutes. We won't watch all of it. At the end of this video, which we won't see, he says, I got one in the back. This is how they talk about the people they are terrorizing and throwing into the backs of their trucks.
Hey, no les abra. Yo, are you fucking serious, bro? Get him down! Get the fuck down! Get the fuck down! Fuck up, son. You're just fucking man. He's good. You just
fucking hand up. Give me your fucking hand. You want it? You got it, sir. You fucking got it. You want to go to jail? Fine. You got it. Good. That's it. No, he wanted it. You got it. All right. Boom.
So they smash his window, drag him out, and we don't even know why. There's no charge leveled at him.
I mean, this is not how you treat people that you are going to arrest, even if they did something wrong. Like, I mean, you allow them to cooperate and peacefully, go away with you. But this is like, we're enabling a police force that is unchecked and not even generally identified as police to exert authority with weapons and no warrants, no nothing, just the potential that you could be an immigrant, an undocumented immigrant, so I can be violent against you. And then maybe find out you actually are American, but you're brown, so I had a right to somehow. And when you have the IDF training these people, and when you have all the white nationalists in bed with our police force that was a project from the KKK 40 years ago, which worked successfully as hell, and these are the people we're going to give more power to.
I mean, it is terrifying. Now there's a new edict from, I think it's from Rubio's State Department, saying that anybody applying for student visas or any kind of visas, to allow immigrants into the country legally, has to set all of that. The person must set his or her social media profile to public, because they are now going to analyze everything a person has ever posted to decide whether or not that person, should be allowed into our country.
Yeah. So you're going to have people that don't criticize anything that's moral, like, immoral,
right,
on any level. So
don't criticize capitalism, don't criticize a genocide. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And if you hit it a little bit because you're trying to get a job, for example, but you're coming into this country, but the same concept, that'll be a reason to deport you 2 years down the road when you've already incurred $140,000 in student loan debts.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. Just a couple more, because this is where Democrats are just so. This is a Democratic. It's like a progressive PAC. This is their ad against these ICE raids.
I had a really good time today.
Yeah, me too. I really look.
What are you doing? She's coming with us. What are you talking about? Who are you? I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're rounding up illegals. She was born here. She's a citizen. I don't care. She looks like one of them. But don't worry. When she's in prison in El Salvador, she'll have lots of company.
Like, doesn't exactly get to the crux of it. She's a citizen. She's not one of the others.
Yeah.
Like, does not inspire much confidence in the party of opposition. However, not one ever to miss out on an opportunity. The good news is Mahmoud Khalil was finally ordered to be released. I think there still have been no charges pressed against him. He was in jail for over 100 days, missed the birth of his firstborn, all of that.
But they're trying to find justification to charge him. That's what this whole, they haven't said that they're not going to charge him, because he's going to be charged with something. They just
got to find something.
You got to find out what.
He's so fucking brave and courageous. He's already back with protesters in front of Columbia now. I mean, I'm sorry. I would actually be annoyed with my husband if he got out of 100 days in prison, hadn't helped me change a diaper. Not his fault, but like change a diaper, burp, feed the baby, do anything, let me get some sleep. And then right away went out there. But that's why I will never be a hero. And he is. It's amazing. But just look who shows up to enjoy the attention.
I want to hear how she had any part in this release to justify the fucking photo op.
Yeah, me too.
Give me something. Give me anything you did. Because first time we saw you on this issue was at the release party.
I mean, it is astounding, honestly. It's astounding. And then things that are less drastic seeming or sort of like horrifying to witness somebody just being like thrown to the ground and then hauled off to a dungeon. There's reports of, fresh food markets, farmland, places where schools are now back to having, now we're out of school. Most places are out of school, but these last couple of weeks, the enrollment has been way down. People aren't showing up for school, right? This is having huge effects where we don't have people picking our food, which, by the way, why don't we just pay everybody what they deserve? And then you don't have to rely on people who are desperate to be in this hellhole of a country. They should also be paid a living wage. But like all of this, it always just comes down to the greed of the people in charge. It's so gross. But here's the other thing go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, we should have, this is where socialism is like solves a lot of these problems, right? Yep. We should have, these people should be paid a living wage to go do what we need, which is provide food. We got farmers saying we can't do it without undocumented workers because that's the system that's been created and existed forever. Right. So ultimately what happens is the US government funds the farmers to not make a profit all the time, but they're not going to fund them to have workers. That, that's why Trump had to back off on some of this. Yep. But honestly, if you're an undocumented worker picking food here, you're like, I'm going to try to find somewhere else to fucking go. So so that workforce is not going to exist because of everything that Trump is doing. Yep. And they should be getting paid a fair wage. Don't get me wrong. But that workforce is not going to exist. And we have no plans to replace it whatsoever. Right. We have no system in place to, We have
no system in place. We have no path to citizenship that doesn't put these people in danger because they show up to their appointments and then ICE is there waiting to arrest them right outside. And then, it's like the whole thing with, the lawfare. Well, who has the money to start fighting these legal processes that are slapped against anybody with the wrong color skin? Because every minute that you're spending money doing that, putting time into filling out the forms absolutely properly, a lot of people now are getting called in because 3 years ago they missed a signature on a page of 20, a 20-page form and they did something wrong, or they were told to do it one way and now it's changed, or the person who told them all that time ago was like, there are so many bureaucratic little details that can get you trapped into this system that they take advantage of. I mean, like there's no crime worse than genocide, right? So all I keep thinking is like, really, you're going to get that person because he didn't fill out line 7 of a 20-page document while you're blowing children up and parents are having to gather pieces of their babies in a bag. That's okay. But the document that wasn't properly initialed, like I just, it's like upside down world.
And if you have $5 million, you can come here regardless of what kind of anything that happened in your life, Yeah. Like literally, if you are the victim of American imperialism and your country, whatever, you're fleeing starvation and death and criminal warlords or whatever, you can't be here anymore. But if you're wealthy, you can just come here. Like it's
the wealthy have no borders. Like they have no borders.
We've always known that, but now,
like
Trump's $5 million buy your way to be a citizen stuff is just like, it's just, everything is just so exposed with Trump. Like, this is who we are as a country right here.
Yep. Money is the only religion all these people have. It is interesting. We saw a couple of instances on video where people were harassed by people claiming to be ICE agents, but it's happening more frequently now. There have been several arrests from people who have been impersonating ICE officers, but I don't even know what makes a person an ICE officer anyway. Because I mean, again, and I am not like, I don't really care how people dress or whatever, but like no uniform, face covered, no badge, no warrant, nothing. Some of the things, the guy on the top left, Sean Michael Johnson, charged with kidnapping and impersonating an ICE agent after detaining a group of Latino men. Leon Howell told a 51-year-old Hispanic woman in Brooklyn he was an ICE agent and directed her to a nearby stairwell where he punched her, tried to rape her, and stole her chain, cell phone, and purse. In North Carolina, Carl Bennett Jr. impersonated an ICE agent and threatened to deport a woman if she did not have sex with him. So those are like the horrific examples. Yeah.
And those are just the examples that are known, because what's happening is undocumented people don't report crimes against them because they're at risk. Like, how would you ever report a crime against you in this environment?
Right.
So this is happening like crazy across this country. If you're a white nationalist, white supremacist piece of fucking shit, and you don't like brown people for existing like they're your neighbors, they're gonna cook up something and do some shit like this. It's
which is what they do
everywhere.
even when they're being
everywhere.
even when they're being recruited by DHS anyway. That's what they're doing. They're just picking people up off the street they don't like. US citizens working like on a break from Walmart, and they're just throwing them in the back of vans. So like they're doing that with the protection of the state anyway. So yeah, this is what they're doing. And then, the Pasadena Parks program just canceled all of its community, like swim lessons or their like little camps because a huge number of our community here in Los Angeles, greater Los Angeles, are immigrants. And whether they're here legally or not, they are being targeted. So it's like the drain pool philosophy, right? Like white people who didn't want, once after the civil rights movement and when parks had to be, there was no separation, supposed to be not separate to be equal. There were many places that just drained their public pools because they did not want a black person in the pool with their white skin. They would rather have no pool than share a pool with somebody who they deem to be a lesser human, which is also, a lot of reason we don't have universal health care in this country. White people will stop at nothing, even like self-inflicted harm, just not to have to cohabitate with anybody they deem to be inhuman.
And I mean, that policy right there is just coming from the president down now nationally. Like that's our national policy, is white supremacy at the harm of our own economy. Like for California, this is going to be devastating to our economy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be devastating to our economy. Nobody's going to want to travel here. It's dangerous. It's terrifying. Social media accounts, whatever we all say there, is going to be held against us one way or the other. When Biden came in and said that fighting for, climate or fighting for our climate, being anti-capitalist, that was domestic violent extremism. Like, they are broadening the definition of who are terrorists and who are the undesirables. And Zainab, yeah, I mean, I think that there is going to be, and there probably, I mean, is so much trafficking, human trafficking, you know, like the Clinton Global Initiative or Global Clinton's Global CGI, whatever. Anyway, like they were, you know, all of the allegations against them in Haiti. I mean, all of these sort of like people who are extra, like outside of the parameter of state and can act with that kind of independence and lawlessness are always going to do the worst imaginable. Sorry, Pat. Go
It's definitely happening on a larger level now because people are disappearing, and it's just like, well, it must be an ICE thing, must be an immigration thing. Maybe they got deported, and that's cover for all these groups to just.
Yep.
So of course they're going to take advantage of that. I mean, it's just, we know it. It's just the way the world works.
Which is why watching people come out to fight against this is so encouraging, because I think they know it's like, it's that or we're all done for. Like, people have nothing left to lose at this point. So they either have to stay in hiding or they come out and fight. And that's a horrific position to be put in. But I think there is, it also emboldens people, because you have, if you don't fight, you die, right? So like, I think that is where people are now, which is the silver lining. I don't know. Is that a silver lining?
Well, I mean, look, when you're under attack, you got to get behind, you know, you got to support whoever's pushing back, which is why, like, we don't condemn Hamas. You know, it's the same thing. It's like, and still there's no violence against the police force. There's rocks thrown back. There's like, oh, we burned a car. Oh no.
Yeah. A Waymo. Yeah.
But we just, real violence is coming. They're pushing us to that. They want that. And that's the unfortunate part, but we have to fight back. So I'm all with anyone doing anything.
Yeah.
If you target the right people, I will support whatever the fuck you do.
100%. Do not condemn. Just really quickly before we close out, because this is a terrifying development, which I'm sure we all saw coming, but heads of some of the biggest big tech industries have been inducted into the US Army. They're calling it Detachment 201. The day before Donald Trump's 250th anniversary parade last week, the Army swore in 4 Silicon Valley executives as Army Reserve Lieutenant Colonels as part of the new Detachment 201. The Army said the program was designed to fuse cutting-edge tech expertise with military innovation. The new Army Reserve Lieutenant Colonels are from Palantir, Meta, Facebook, OpenAI, and Thinking Machines Lab, and a former chief research officer for OpenAI. The rank of lieutenant colonel is generally awarded to officers in their second decade of military service. The position typically commands between several hundred soldiers, but the tech executives are not expected to command traditional formations.
Yeah. So what we got is the AI that we know intentionally makes a lot of mistakes is now going to be implemented with our military and police forces by people that are like, yeah, go nuts. I'm the guy who knows how to handle this software. It says there's a lot of brown people over there. Just do your thing. Push the button. The thing is done.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. We know Operation Lavender happened that way. We know there was like a 90% civilian rate. We know that with the drones that Obama used, right? The drones killed 90% civilians. We know that United Healthcare used that AI to deny claims, and then 90% incorrect evaluation level. Big dumb animal. Thank you. I hate calling you a big dumb animal, but thank you for the super sticker. Thank you. Cheers.
Smart.
Smart animal. And then this was just two quick things, and then I know we have to go, but just because this tech data is so, first of all, riddled with problems all over the place. They just had an enormous data breach. 16 billion login credentials were leaked in the world's largest data breach, affecting Apple, Google, Facebook, that's Meta, Telegram, and more. These are the people we are now making lieutenant colonels in the army. They cannot even keep our login information safe. But then also, MIT just did a huge study about our brains on ChatGPT. It's not making us more productive. It's making us cognitively bankrupt. Brain scans revealed the damage. Neural connections collapsed from 79 to just 42. That's a 47% reduction in brain connectivity. So when your brain is using ChatGPT instead of doing your own true research, looking things up, when you are using these large language models, not only are you helping deplete water from our environment and destroy it and putting money into the pockets of these ghouls, but you're giving yourself brain damage, truly. Like, you're not using the muscle that we all need to fight this fight. That's my own little plea to not use this.
Yeah, don't use it. I mean, it's bad for the environment. It's bad for workers. It replaces jobs. It steals creativity. It's theft. It's labor theft of all the people before it. And it's going to put us all out of work in a hurry. And it's happening. So we should fight it as long as we can until we get some stuff in place to provide for people, some sort of socialist something, some sort of UBI, something.
That new social contract that Sam Altman was so excited to talk about, which means destroying society.
And the other piece of it is, like, I do enjoy right now when you see these AI systems like Grok check people on their opinions, and you're like, oh, we scrubbed the facts and here's some actual truth, right? But they're reprogramming it in front of our eyes to not point that out to us. So
they're even announcing it. Yeah.
But if you start learning that this thing, it called it out, so there you go, left. You're like, well, Grok's not calling this out, so you're getting trained to believe the fucking AI that's going to lie to us very fucking soon.
Yeah.
So don't.
And again,
AI.
like Elon Musk even wrote, "Got to reprogram it. It's coming up with things I don't like." Like, it's amazing. Josh Stolberg, thanks for the super sticker.
That guy, super sticker. He should just walk in the room and start flipping some dollars at you.
Yeah, there we go.
Gosh, make that happen, man. But
Kimmy, thank you for the super sticker. We did thank you. That's so sweet. Really appreciate it. We did get a request for a spin, but should we just show a quick thing and then go, or what do you think? Or should we just?
Yeah, you choose. Go nuts.
All right, I am gonna choose a quick. Sorry.
I tried, and I tried even more. I cried, and I can't recall what for. I pressed, I pushed, I yelled and begged in hopes of some success. But the inevitable fact is that it never will impress. I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have runneth dry. I've tried to go fuck shopping, but there's no fucks left to buy. I've no more fucks to give, the more fucks I've tried to get. I'm over my fuck budget and I'm now in fucking debt.
Tuxedo shop?
I strive to get everything.
Very old-fashioned.
I played by all the rules, but I very rarely won. I've smiled, I've charmed, I would have laughed, alas, to no avail. I'd run round like a moron to unequivocally fail. I've no more fucks to give, my fuck fuse has just blown. I've been hunting for my fucks all day, but they've upped and fucked off home. I've no more fucks to give, my fuck rations are depleted. I've rallied my fuck army, but it's been fucking defeated.
Thinking
the time or the expense. I've exhausted all my energy for minimal recompense. The complete lack of acknowledgement has now begun to go, and I've come to realize that I don't give a fuck. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks have blown away. My fucks are now so fucked off they refuse to fucking stay. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks have gone insane. They've come back round and passed me while they're fucking off again. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks have all dissolved. I planned many projects, but my fucks won't be involved. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks have all been spent. They fucked off from the building and I don't know where they went. I've no more fucks to give. I've no more fucks to give. I've no more fucks. I've no more fucks. I've no more fucks to give. Thank you very much.
Sorry if we showed that before. And obviously, it's not that we don't give a fuck. It's that we can't give a fuck about the response, right? Like, that's the thing is it's dire right now. But we all definitely give a fuck. Yeah.
No, but you have to tell the people that need to hear it what they need to hear and not give a fuck. And that's how I read that the most.
100%. I agree. I just didn't want it to be, I mean, I know everybody here gets it, but like, and also just to find a little joy, you know, and that first video that the photojournalist Anthony put out, the 3-minute sort of paying homage to the community in Los Angeles, which is spreading, I think it's happening in lots of cities, but that kind of solidarity and also the joy, like there are lots of videos of people breaking out in dance at these protests because we have to just keep reminding ourselves what we're fighting for.
Here. Let's end it on a good note. One good thing. You are not alone. Do you want to set it up?
Yeah, just protesting is hard for some people. It can feel uncomfortable and dangerous, and people are losing their jobs and being sent to dungeons. So I'm not making light of any of it, but it is really pretty spectacular to see people come together across the whole globe to fight the evil that is being perpetrated in our name. So cheers to everybody fighting the good fight. We love you guys. Pat, you know I love you, even if we had our first on-air tiff.
We didn't even have a tiff. We're so in sync with everything. But
gentle with each other.
Don't write today down, though. Don't write today down and misquote me down the right.
6/22/2025. We love you guys. We'll see you on Wednesday. Keep punching up.
Remember when you were the only one, when you were the only one who was speaking up, when you were the only one who was marching, when you felt so alone, like no one was there, like no one was listening. And now, you know, you are not alone. You are not alone. We are not alone. This is what it feels like. This is the last stand for humanity. Humanity above weapons. Humanity above violence. Humanity above hate. Humanity above fear. Humanity above all. only way out of this is together. And inshallah ya Rabb al-Alameen, we will emerge victorious.